It's saying I don't have permission to go live on Facebook. Oh wait, no, it fixed itself. Never mind.
Okay.
We're good.
Hi everyone, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We're just gonna wait a little bit, see if anyone else joins, and then we will be getting started.
Is that everyone from the waiting room? We're good. Everyone's added. Okay.
I'm just trying to
So
get
since we're all here, just waiting, what counties are you from?
Wayne County.
Wayne, nice, that's a good county. And if you don't want to unmute, you can type in the chat. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Nice. Thank you so much. Also, Sarah, I too was from Oakland County. Now I'm in Ingham.
Yes, I was as well, but now I'm in Sanilac.
I'm in Ingham. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our Tech Tuesday, which is Assistive Technology for Youth. And we are going to have 3 presenters today. Myself, Asia Thomas. I am the Youth Assistive Technology Specialist for our program. And we have Abby Squires.
I am the AT Specialist for Gaming and Crafting.
And we have Jaleesa Irwin.
And I am the AT Specialist for Outdoor Recreation.
And that is me, sorry. Our mission at MDRC is to cultivate disability pride and strengthen the disability movement by recognizing disability as a natural and beautiful part of human diversity while collaborating to dismantle all forms of oppression. And so Michigan Assistive Technology Program, MATP, we are a free program for people with disabilities by people with disabilities. We provide in-person and virtual demonstrations of our AT. We present trainings to organizations, businesses, and other professionals on accessibility and being inclusive. We also have a lending library. We offer short and long-term loans and of our AT to help identify what works and what doesn't work for you, because a lot of times assistive technology can be super expensive. So it's better to know if it works for you or not before you go out and buy it. And our services are available to all individuals of all ages. We have AT for infants all the way up to older adults.
So what is AT? AT is any tool, software, or app that can help people with disabilities, including older adults, do what they want to do. Technology can make things easier for everyone. For people with disabilities, AT opens up possibilities. And why use AT? When used properly, assistive technology provides more opportunities to engage in activities and make activities more inclusive. It can help develop the sense of independence or interdependence and help individuals confidently complete tasks that previously required assistance. Feeding or dressing are examples. There are no specific age or skills required to use assistive technology, meaning that almost all individuals with disabilities can benefit. Next slide. So here's some questions and housekeeping. So questions are welcome throughout the webinar today. So please type them in the chat or unmute and ask. And then getting to know you, we asked this question previously, but for those who are just joining, what county are you from? And then if you are comfortable, can you write in the chat or unmute to describe what type of person you identify as. So examples are a person with a disability, a family member or guardian, representative of education, community living, health and rehab, technology, or other identity.
Yep, and if you would rather direct message one of us, you can do that if you don't feel comfortable typing in the chat to everyone. Oh, thank you.
We
Parent
have,
mentor.
yeah, I was gonna say Chris Moore, parent mentor from Michigan Alliance for Families.
Chris, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We also have Christina from Shiawassee, person with a disability and works at DNCAP.
Woohoo!
Yeah, woo. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So what we will cover today, assistive technology devices for youth to use in their daily lives that can assist with learning, development, cognition, and mental health, and to use while participating in indoor and outdoor hobbies, recreation, and play. And then also, this is just a brief overview of various assistive technology for youth. If you'd like to know more about any of these topics and the AT that's out there, please feel free to contact us, and we can go more in depth. We have quite a bit of items on this presentation, and it can be overwhelming. So
Yes.
again, please feel free to reach out to us.
And our emails will be in the chat at the end of the slides and on the resource guide and on our
Yes.
website.
Thank you. So we are going to get started with talking about some assistive technology that youth can use in their daily lives. And those will include different AT devices that can assist with dressing. So there's adaptive clothing and also sensory clothing. So being mindful of seams in clothing, tags on clothing, and then there's a lot of different adaptive clothing out there that are magnets and using zippers over buttons and snaps. What we have pictured on the screen is a device called Zubits, which is a magnetic device that helps with tying shoelaces. So instead of having to tie your shoes, you can add the Zubits to the laces, and then now it's just more of a magnetic snap. And then also there are so many different devices for cooking. That's a whole training in itself, but just some things that we have had quite a few individuals that request these items or want to use these items. So like our double-sided spatula, a very popular item with youth for youth that want to be able to flip pancakes by themselves. And the image on the screen is someone using the double spatula for a grilled cheese. So it's just two sides to the spatula. It's like a tong where you would grab the item and be able to flip it and navigate it rather than using the one-handed spatula. And then also the liquid, I always forget this name. But it pretty much
liquid level indicator.
Level indicator. There we go.
We have two different kinds. There's some that have just 2 prongs and some with 3. So like when it starts, your cup starts filling up, when it hits the 2 prongs that are lower down, it'll start beeping. And then when it hits the 3rd one in the middle that's higher up, it's like beep, 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 beep. Like, stop it, it's gonna overfill.
Yes, so that is helpful for people that have low vision or are blind. And then also the Colorino color identifier, which is the rainbow image on the screen that is almost like a remote, and it has 2 buttons on it, the red button and then a yellow button, and you will put the device up against your shirt or any color that you're trying to see, like if something, just to be able to identify what color something is. And a voice will come out of the speaker that says red or blue or yellow. And then it also identifies if there's light in the room. So that's helpful too for people that are low vision or are blind. And then we have other devices that can assist with opening bottles, opening cans, opening pop cans, jars. There's so many different devices out there that can assist with other your day-to-day tasks. So the device with the pop can is called a cappy. Some of them don't really have names. If you just kind of Google pop can opener, there's a couple of different devices out there. And the cappy, people like that because you can use it to open the pop can, and then also you can use it to cover the pop can. So if you're outside and you have a pop can, it protects it from like bugs and stuff from flying in. And then we have our Pampered Chef jar opener. That one is really popular for youth that need assistance with like gripping a jar. Some people that are not able to grip the jar with their hands, or if somebody just takes a little bit more arm strength and they don't have that strength, then that device is helpful as well. And then the pull zip device, toddlers, older adults, that device is helpful to be able to attach onto a zipper, and then you can pull it. So if you're unable to grip the zip, that device is really helpful as well. And we have so many other things in our inventory for daily living. In our resource guide, we have a list of a lot of different adaptive clothing as well. We have just recently added some supportive seating devices. I'm really excited about these. So some of our supportive seating that we have are the Go-To Vinyl Firefly seat and the Special Tomato Soft Touch sitter. So both of these seats help with like posture support, daily living activities. So if a child wants to be more involved in play activities, if they need help sitting up at the table to eat, sitting up at a table to be able to be more included in different activities, and that's at school, at home. We do have these seats, and these seats are very expensive. If you're not familiar, they can range from $600 to almost $900 for these type of seats. So they're very popular. A lot of different parenting groups that I'm in, they do ask for these seats if they're available to loan out. Insurance will cover these, but then that also sometimes just it's a process trying to get the funding for those. And so it's just one of those things that we're just excited to have available to support families when they're in need for these supportive seating AT devices. And so what our program will do is we can loan those out until the insurance will provide that, or just even for you to come demonstrate that, see if it's a good fit for your kid. And then we can go from there. Do we have questions in the chat? I see like no. So some different assistive technology devices as well for daily living will include sleep devices. So we do have a Sony sleep bar. That is the flat bar shaped, is a speaker, but it's like a flat, almost like a flat rectangle pill shape, and it just goes under your pillow, and it can connect to Bluetooth, so it can connect to any type of apps you have that can play music, audiobooks, podcasts, whatever is your kind of soothing space to get you to calm down, go to sleep. But the benefits of using the Sony sleep bar is that it can fit under your pillow, and then also it's loud enough for the person that's laying on the pillow to hear it, but it won't disturb the person that may be in the room with you or just others around you. So I really like the device. We kind of had some going back and forth between our staff on like if it was loud enough, or so there's other devices out there too that are like sleep speakers out there, so we can do some compare and contrast with things in our inventory as well. And then also just utilizing white noise machines, weighted blankets. We have a couple of different weighted blankets in our inventory. Weighted blankets are great for that calming aspect, to have that extra weight on your body for just the coziness. They're known to like help relax in like a sensory blanket. There's weighted stuffed animals. And then there's also the creating routines using like wake up and night lights. These can be AT devices. We have a couple of them on the screen here that you can program through an app. And then you can program for it to turn a different color when it's time to wake up. And then also it turns a different color when it's time to get ready for bed, and turns a different color when it's time to like go to sleep. Those are known to help with routines when you're going for bedtime routines. And then also just night lights, bringing that comfort. There's a lot of creative ways to have night lights to help bring that soothing comfort zone, and also just making bedtime more fun. So night lights that have stars that twinkle in their bedroom, night lights that they can have in the bed with them. And then also just like using a night light in those routine systems as their alarm as well. So on the screen, there's also another night light that has like a smiley face on it. So cute little things like that for kids. And then one thing that is pretty new, there's a Fisher Price bedtime routine system. So this is a device that you can mount to the wall, and it has various different tasks for a person to complete. So as they complete the different bedtime routines, they will push a button, and it would ding and say, good job, that you completed this task, change a different color, and then another task will go on the cloud shape. So the images that are here are of a shirt, so letting you know, get your pajamas on. There's a toothbrush, there's a fork and a spoon to say, time for dinner. And then even morning routine, so there's a backpack, there's a bathroom, there's a toilet to remind you to go to the bathroom. And you also, so as a parent, you can change the routines through the app. So you can customize them if there's a certain routine that you do in the morning. So if it's like, okay, you want to do your affirmations or prayers in the morning, different things like that, parents can change those different routines. And those routine systems can really assist a child in going to bed, or even those wake up routines, helping with anxiety, helping to stay focused and on task. Those are different devices just for sleep and waking up. And to add to sleeping, and also for day-to-day or day and nighttime incontinence. So we get a lot of different parents, people in education, teachers that ask us for devices that are out there for bedwetting, or even just having accidents at school. So there are so many different watches that there's potty watches that will say, that will sing a song or a tune to remind you to go to the bathroom. There are watches that will just vibrate, and so that are a little bit more discreet for when a child is at school. So on the screen, we have a lot of different varieties of those watches. There's a wobble watch. That one does a tune, and it also will vibrate. You can set this, and that's a little bit more heavy duty of a watch, and it's a round shape. And then there's the eVibra brand watches. Those almost have the same form and shape of an Apple Watch, a little bit more sleek and newer type of design. And then there's also another eVibra watch that is almost like a Fitbit, so that skinnier band, and it's a little bit more discreet as well. Some of the potty watches are meant for toddlers, so they they have a little bit more of a look, but like fun look. They're more bulkier. They flash cute lights, but if there's an older child, they probably wouldn't want something that says potty watch on their wrist. So we like to have those different styles of watches available. There's different clothing, so there's underwear, there's brief underwear, there's underwear for girls that will absorb better than regular underwear. So they have like an absorbable cloth for those accidents. And then there's also diaper pants available, and they have those in different styles. So like short styles or actual pants. There's a brand called Pajamas, and those are absorbable pajamas. So those come in a wide variety of different styles and prints, just kind of getting away from, a child having to actually wear a diaper to bed. They have these different styles available, cute little prints where we're kind of getting rid of that shame of having accidents or having incontinence, where, you know, we have these things available for if that does happen. And also where it doesn't have to be something that, you know, we could just be a little bit more discreet about that, where a child doesn't have to be embarrassed about having incontinence. And then there's also bed alarms and sensors that are available. And those are something that will attach to a child's clothing at night. And then it can be attached to a bed pad, or sometimes there's a little hook that will also attach like to their underwear. And any sense of water, then the alarm will go off. There's a lot of those out there that there's pros and cons to all of the different sensors that are available. And then also just making sure your bathroom accessibility when you're dealing with a child that may have incontinence. So if the problem is they're not getting to the bathroom fast enough, maybe there's different ways that you can bring like a bedside commode, or, you know, if it's like a fear of, you know, they're scared to go to the bathroom. So we have night lights that leads a trail to the bathroom, or there's a night light that's in the bathroom, just different things like that to make that transition to be able to be more independent using the bathroom easier. And so other daily living activities will be your health and safety on a day-to-day for youth. So we have a wide variety of different medicine reminders. On this screen, there is a medicine reminder that is a 30-month calendar reminder that you can put all of your medicine for the month. And that's a little bit on the pricier end. And then there's also your kind of basic medicine reminders that are just like throughout the week. And then they have like the inserts for daytime, nighttime. There's sink, so more so home accessibility items. So like your sink extenders to bring out the sink and the faucet so that a toddler or someone shorter can reach the sink, different accessibility, things like that. And then also just those motion sensor lighting. So if you have a child that does tend to sleepwalk, you have those sensor lights available to just make sure that they don't fall when they're, you know, walking in the dark, or whatever that is, as far as just making sure your home is just more safe and accessible. We have a lot of environmental adaptations as well in our inventory. And another cute and fun way, but still to be safe, there's a lot of different thermometers to make sure that the bath water is safe and not too hot, not too cold. And then also there's a lot of different GPS tracking devices. The one that we have on the screen is our Angel Sense device, and that device is a little bit more high tech than some of the other GPS tracking devices. That one is a little bit more accurate on location. You can do a lot of different settings. So if a child goes outside of a certain boundary, it will alert you. And it has a lot of different accessible and adaptable clothing. So it can be worn in a lot of different ways rather than just a watch has to be on your wrist. The Angel Sense has different ways that you can wear that device. And some assistive technology for memory. There's a lot of different ways nowadays where you can do calendars, lists, reminders, routines. So you can do that on your smart device, on your iPhone or your Android, using Hey Google or Hey Siri, different ways to use your voice assistant. And then there's also the Alexa device that you can add your calendars, lists, and reminders and routines to that as well. We have Apple Watches and Alexa Echo Show devices available, where we will come out and demonstrate and show you different ways on how to add those reminders, set up your calendar, different ways that your Echo device can be used for whatever you need. So memory, mental health, and then another device that we recently were like, oh, this is great for memory, is our pen friend. It's a label recorder. So you will take the pen friend and you'll push the record button. And it's just like a shape it looks like a pen, really. And you will push it onto these circle labels or square, and you will record what you want it to say. And then after you record whatever you want the label to say, you will then just touch the label, and then it will just read back whatever that is. So that's great for memory, to kind of remember instructions, remember where things are. Put those calendar things on your refrigerator. They come in magnet labels. So those are just different devices for memory. And then we also have assistive technology for mental health. So we have a lot of different apps available that we can demonstrate and show how to use. And those apps just go through mindfulness, guided meditation, breathing, focus. We have some apps that can assist with PTSD and coping skills. On the screen is the Calm app. And it has a question. It says, "Good morning, how are you feeling?" as a check-in. And then you can say that you're happy, excited, grateful, unsure, angry, stressed. And then from there, it will guide you through different ways to cope. Some new devices that we are still trying to learn and trying to figure out how we can fit these into our inventory, and then just still trying to like test these out. And they get really expensive, but there are wearable devices, and they can help with stress regulation and panic, focus, attention, and staying on task. And then there's also self-regulation and coping skills. So some of these devices can assist with calming down. So that's what this Mightier game. It's a game in an app, and it has a heart monitor that hooks onto a child's arm. And as they're playing the game, it gets harder, and then they have to use coping skills to calm down. So if their heart rate is going up, the game will continue to get harder, and then they have to squeeze the stress ball or take deep breaths. Sometimes they'll tell them to jump up and down, like give them different ways to bring that heart rate down and to kind of calm down before the game will get either back to normal or easier for them. So that's a cool game. It has a lot of different activities. It has individual activities, family activities. They have card game activities as well, but all of them are geared towards mental health and that stress regulation. There's a device called Touch Points, and that is the kind of like a watch that has like the pink strap. It's a square, and it goes on your wrist or it can go on your ankle. And that also can determine when your heart rate is going up, and it also just gives you it vibrates if it notices that you're going off task. So those also help with focus, attention, and staying on task. And then there's different vibrating watches, and that will remind you to do tasks. So the watch on here it says write down your homework on the watch. So different things like that can help you and give you reminders. And then the image of the little boy on the screen, he's kind of using something that looks like an inhaler. It's called a Calmigo. So that it's not an inhaler, it's not a medical prescription, but it does help with breathing in and out into that device. So it does assist with panic and that stress regulation. And we have a lot of different devices available for sensory and also the self-regulation. So on the screen are images of our companion pets, which are robotic pets that purr, they bark, they roll over. So they're interactive pets. And then we have fidgets, so different fidget blocks available, and tactile and sensory mats. So even for infants or toddlers on the ground, just different tactile that can bring some of that sensory and self-regulation. And we have sensory body socks. So that flex and that retention with the spandex, that also helps with calming and sensory processing. And then we have a lot of different headphones available for sensory, and just if someone needs to figure out, like someone likes to listen to music or they like to listen to podcasts, but they really don't like to wear the over the head headphones. So we have a lot of different headphone styles available for kids. some AT to just go over in the classroom. There's a wide range of different AT devices. And we are currently in talks with AltShift to kind of collaborate and figure out, what things they provide and what things we can assist with that may be helpful and resourceful for classrooms and schools. But there are calming corners out there that teachers are really starting to incorporate into their classroom. So just a space or area for kids to come to, there's fidgets available. There's sometimes people will put different exercises on the walls to remind a student to calm down, or to remind of coping skills and ways to calm down. There's always like a comfortable chair in that area. And then just different fidgets, so sensory bins that can be on the tables so that might include slime, putty, different fidget toys, different things like that. And then there's also the weighted lap pads, and those are known to, again, give that extra weight and compression to bring down the nervous system and assist with like coping and also attention. And then we have a wide variety of different writing aids to assist with learning and development. And there's tablets and iPads out there and available for that accessibility as well. And then there's also a lot of learning and thinking apps that we can show and demonstrate. We have some sensory seating available. So wobble chairs and stools. Those are different devices that help with like getting the wiggles out for certain kids. And there's different devices that there's different wiggle wobble chair feet that can go onto a chair, and that also assists with if you're wiggling and rocking back and forth. That just, it makes it a little bit more safer for a child in a chair where the feet actually wobble for them. There's bouncy bands, so if a child taps a lot, there's a band that can assist with them being able to get that like tapping out. And then there's different discs in those wobble stools, again, to help with the wiggles and wobbles. The tactile seat cushion is a cushion that just sits under a child, but it has like the raised bumps, and that's available as well for sensory seating. Some assistive technology for reading that we have available, our Leapfrog reader. That's more for younger children, but it's a pen that you put onto the different text and it will read out loud. There's also the C pens that pretty much do the same thing, and that can also hook up to headphones. Like the image on the screen is an older student that is using a C pen to read that text out loud. So it scans the text on the page and then it reads it out loud, and she has her headphones hooked in. We also have the OrCam Read. This is one of our really high price items, but we do have this available. The benefit of the OrCam Read that's different from the C pen is that the OrCam Read will read the full page text. Just once you hit one button, and it will read everything on the text. With the C pen, you have to kind of guide it along the text, and it'll read out loud what you're guiding it on. And then there's also other visual aids to help with reading. And then using picture visual books, books and recipes and instructions are also helpful for people that have any trouble reading in audiobooks. And so we also have note-taking AT. So smart pens, the LiveScribe Echo Pen and the LiveScribe Symphony Pen. These pens will record what you're hearing. They will record what you're writing when you're taking notes. And then you have the ability to, once you're writing something on a page, you will then be able to put what you're writing onto the screen to have it as a digital copy as well. So these are really cool. Again, kind of pricey. You have to purchase ink as well for these pens if you want to continue to use them. But we do have these available for people to try out. And so to go on to note taking, I'm going to pass it on to Abby, who will talk about some writing and drawing AT.
Might help if I unmute. Thank you, Ashne. So there are a lot of different types of pencil or pen grips. They're made of different materials, like some are silicone or foam, and they can be used if you're right-handed, left-handed, or ambidextrous. On screen, we have one that is a silicone one. We also have, it looks like a large foam egg. We also have some that you actually insert your fingers into, and a larger foam version that covers almost the whole pencil. And we have a writing bird, which is at the top there. It's like a little glass thing that you can screw in a pencil or pen, and you kind of just use that like you would a computer mouse. And then next to that, we have the Arthwriter, which is, it looks like a ball that you can put your whole hand around for a different type of grip. And side note, you can make one of these with a tennis ball. If you just cut an X in the top and bottom, stick a pen through there, or pencil. And then on the top right there, we have a blue pen again. That's something that you can just kind of put your finger through and kind of pinch. And that one I feel like has been pretty popular and it's been really helpful for a lot of people. And then there's also different types of crayons that you can have. What's shown on the screen is one of the Crayola egg crayons that provides different, just different grips. There's some that are like shaped like peanuts and different ones that are like ergonomic shaped ones that are just easier to hold. And I see that Sarah said, are you able to touch on writing aids for youth with finger amputations? Yeah, well, Ajane, do you have any input on youth?
I don't. I know me and you were talking about some of the mouth aids. And so that was something that we had a conversation when we were creating the slide. And that's something that we're looking into.
Oh yeah, and that the like handy, the thing that we were talking about, that's like you can rest your hand on it, and like as long as you can like guide your arm, it'll hold the pencil for you, or it'll let you can Velcro your hand to it, or and then you can just like, as long as you can move your arm around, like it goes in any direction. It's really cool. I will add that to our resource guide because the name of it's slipping my mind. And Sarah, I'm gonna make sure I put, or I can email you directly too. I'm gonna make a note of that. Yeah, of course.
Yes, Christina, so much AT.
I know there's a lot. And then you can go to the next slide, Ajane. All right, and then some AT for crafting. At the top there, we have blue electric scissors, which are really cool. I mean, they're kind of loud, but they, you can either press the button and hold it, or you can lock it in place. And all you have, you can even like rest on the table and just guide it. And it cuts through a lot of different things. Like you can cut through cotton fabrics, leather, even cardboard, even like thinner tin aluminum sheets. And it usually comes with like 2 rechargeable batteries, and they last for quite a while. Those have been pretty popular. And then next to that is a Mickey Mouse coloring book. It's a Braille coloring book, so it's tactile and you can feel the outline. And next to that, we have an adjustable art easel that can go on a table. And at the bottom left is a really fun, it's the Zotz art roller. And so that has like a wheelchair bridge attachment that the art roller can be attached to. And it can also go on walkers as well. And then it can even be interchanged with a push handle. So if you were walking, you could use it as well. And we used it for like making a mural on the ground. And at our Her Power, Her Pride camp, which was super awesome. Check it out. And then we also have these dot paint markers. They're just easier to grip. There's no need for brushes or cups, so it's a little less messy as well. But if you want to get messy, that we got paint brushes, and we have those in a lot of different types of handles, like larger handles that are easier to grip, and these no spill paint cups, we have some of those as well. And then the Cricut, I'm going to pass that off to Ajane because she is the Cricut queen.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so the Cricut Maker, I love this device. It is a cutting machine. They can range from about $100 to about $300 to $400. So it is an investment to buy a Cricut machine, but it can do so much. You do need like some software to be able to navigate the Cricut machine, but it can cut pretty much any shape. It can draw, it can stamp, it can cut a lot of different materials, so wood, acrylic, cardstock paper, poster board, felt, a lot of different things, but it's a cool machine. Adhesive papers, people have made stickers with this. So it's a really cool machine that can be used for AT. So if anyone isn't able to hold scissors or cut those fine details, they can use a Cricut Maker, and we do have these available to try out. I can show you and demonstrate using these, and then you can loan it.
You can go to the next slide.
Okay.
And then we have some AT for fiber arts like crocheting and knitting, embroidery. We have an ergonomic handle one. It's pink and green, and there's different attachments on theirs, and they fit all hook sizes from like B to K, I believe that's what it was. And we also have a crochet hook that is interchangeable as well, but it also, you can keep track of your stitches and your rows, so it helps with memory. You just click a button for stitches, click a button for rows. And then underneath that, there's another way to count stitches, and it's like a little adjustable ring you can put on, and it's just like a clicker that you can just tally up what stitch you're on. And we have rings too that are stitch counters. And then on the far left here, we have the Centro knitting machine. It's a 48 needle one, and it can create flat panels or in the round stitches, and it has, so you just have to, the hardest part I think is like putting, like weaving to get it started, and then, but after that it's just a hand crank. And then the embroidery hoop, it's height adjustable. It has like a 360 swivel, and you can either use it on a table and it's pretty sturdy, or you can, because it's like a paddle bottom, you can even put that under your leg in your wheelchair, and you can adjust the height and you can do it from your chair. And it helps with neck and back pain because you're not staring down cross stitching. You can go to the next page. So this one is AT for play. We have a couple different switch activated toys, like the elephant here. If you were to press one foot, it's like plays hide and seek. The other one, it sings a song. And so instead of having to try and find that and push those buttons, you can just use a switch that's a lot more accessible. And same thing with the dinosaur on the bottom. You would press the button and it would make dinosaur noises and spit out bubbles. And it's really cute. And then we have the alternate spinner, which is the top right. And you can either press that red button on the bottom, or you can have it attached to a switch as well. So you can be like up to 30 feet away. I mean, I don't know how you would read it from that far away, but you could. And then we also have this really cool bumper car thing, and Asian is also going to go over that for me.
Yeah, so we have electric bumper cars available. The reason why we like this specific device is that instead of it having a steering wheel, it has the joystick handles. And also there is a remote that is available for a sibling, a parent, someone to also move around. And it spins in circles and also goes back and forth. And then it has the barrier around it, so it's a little bit more safe to use indoors. So they could, if someone has a power chair, they could use this also to navigate around the house, to kind of get out of their chair, and just kind of a little bit more fun that it spins around and it can bump different objects and not do a lot of damage.
All right, and then we have some AT for gaming, specifically like tabletop card games, board games. And on the screen, we have a pair of, they're larger than regular dice. They're black with raised white bumps, so you can feel they're tactile, so you can feel what number you've rolled. We also have different types of card holders. So instead of holding the cards in your hand, you can stick them in the slot and they just hold up for you. And we also have low vision cards, so it's just larger print. And an image on the screen is of 2 kids at our AT for gaming night. They're demonstrating various types of accessible adaptive gaming items, like the alternate spinner and the dice. You can go to
Can
the
you talk
next
about
one.
the dice tower?
Oh, I did not. I skipped right over it. And then the top right is 2 individuals looking very happy. And they're using the dice tower at one of our booths, which is you can grab the dice and you just drop it in the top. And it's just a fun way. And then it's collected at the bottom. So dice aren't rolling off the table. You don't have to go running after your dice. It stays in one contained spot. And if the rolling the dice is an issue, if using a cup is easier, but you still want it to be kind of fun, you can just use a cup and dump it in there. All right, and then AT for video games. We have a lot of different types of adaptive controllers. Mainly the one everyone has heard about is the Xbox adaptive controller, which is super cool. The bottom picture, you can see all these little black dots on the back of it. Those are each different inputs for buttons that are on your controller. And there could be a switch attached to every single one of those. It's very customizable. And there's switches, there's joysticks, foot pedals, a lot of things that you can use with this. And you can use it on PC, you can use it on Xbox, PlayStation, you can even use it on the Switch if you have an adapter. And some of the switches that we have are most from AbleNet. They have a lot of interesting switches. There's buttons, micro light switches. So like the tiniest touch will activate it. There's also different types of switches out there like bite switches, grasp switches, string switch that you just pull. And with the buttons, you can attach those to headrests. So you can use your head to press the buttons. You could use your elbow, your chin, feet, anything that works best for you. And then the pair of feet on there are resting on this circular board that can be used as a controller. So it can work with the Xbox controller and with your PC for some games, and it can even be used for like a mouse or joystick. And then we also have a PS4 controller with purple grips on both the joystick and the handle. And those, they give you different types of grips and height options. It helps reduce slip. And it's a sensory thing too. There's different types that are convex or concave, and there's different textures. And the grips actually are supposed to help with if your hands get super sweaty when playing. And there's also the Amazon Echo Dot. You can actually do a lot of voice activated games with that. There's things like escape rooms, 20 questions, Jeopardy. There's a Batman Wayne Investigations game, song quizzes. There's so many things you can do with the Echo. And then it's next slide, Jaleesa.
Hi there. So this is Jaleesa. So I do AT for outdoor recreation. We have everything from like e-bikes, fishing, camping, hiking, hunting, gardening, rock hunting, bird watching, and so much more. So the image is on the slide. The first one is of a 11-year-old boy who is on a trike, which this is our kids' Liberty trike. It only goes 12 miles an hour. And we do have e-bikes that can go up to 28 miles an hour, which is scary. But the trike does go slower than pretty much all the other e-bikes that we do have. We even have adapters. So the throttle is on the right-hand side, but we do have an adapter to plug in to make it left-handed. And so that's really helpful. And then also this bike, instead of just using the hand braking system, you can also pedal backwards like a lot of kids' bikes are. So you pedal backwards and the bike will stop for the braking. And the next image is of at her power, the camp that Abby had said, is a fish grabber. So if someone has a difficult time grabbing the fish off of the fishing hook, this will you pull back with your fingers and it opens the hooks at the bottom of it, and you let go of your fingers and it will do like a grip onto the fish, and you're able to take out the hook out of the fish's mouth. And on this image is an individual holding a bass with our fish grabber. And Teresa just put in the chat about her power as well. And then on this next slide, we have gardening AT. So this is a fire person style watering system. So instead of pulling the trigger on a watering hose, you can pull back like a fire person's watering hose. We also have ergonomic hand tools with arm cuffs on them. We have different types of seating for gardening. This one specifically is a bench, but also a kneeler. Different tools to help with planting seeds in the garden. This kind of looks like a magnifying glass. You put the seeds in the circular part, and then individually the seeds will come out on a little opening and go down the handle part of it and go into the hole for planting. And then the last image on the slide is at Earth Day event that we did, and it's kids planting different seeds using our ergonomic hand tools, as well as our seeding square, which is kind of small in there to see, but it's a seeding square, and it basically helps you do placement of different seeds based on like what the seeds need to be planted depth wise, space wise, and such. We can do next slide. And then we have AT for camping. So we have different types of marshmallow roasting sticks or hot dog roasting sticks. The first image is of a set of 12 roasting sticks that kind of have finger placements on them. They're telescoping, so the individual doesn't have to get too close to the fire. And then above that, we have, it's the roasting reel. And so what this does, it's a marshmallow roasting stick that telescopes. And to rotate it, you just kind of reel the handle on it like you would a fishing rod, and it rotates the marshmallow for you. We also have a headlamp, which is super helpful for anyone. This just goes onto your head. They do make kid style ones, so like cool little dinosaurs and such. This is a push button. Some have slide buttons. And this has an adjustable strap on it. And they come in a variety of different colors. We specifically just have the teal one in our inventory. And then we have the hammock swinging chair. An image on the slide is my daughter sitting in front of our fireplace at a distance, and her toes are towards the fireplace because she was cold, and so it's kind of like a little hammock. And then we also have an individual who's in the hammock chair facing forward. The kids can swing and play in this, and it doesn't go too far out. Like you could set it a pretty decent amount away from a wall, and they're not going to swing and hit the wall. Same with the fireplace. There was no way that she was going to be able to hit the fireplace, and it just kind of lets them get their wiggles out and swing in the camping chairs rather than rocking in camping chairs, which can be dangerous. And then we have AT for outdoor recreation play. So there we have recreation, sports, and outdoor play. Chalky stick, which is on two of these images, there's a little boy and a little girl. These are long handled devices where you slide the chalk in and you're able to write on the ground or draw pictures or whatever it may be. We have a chalk drawer that attaches to a wheelchair and I believe a walker. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ajane?
Yes.
Yeah, so these attach to wheelchairs and walkers. You can put different colors of chalk in there, and then they wheel around or walk around, and this will draw pictures on the ground. And then we have a snow slinger. Again, a picture of my daughter forming a snowball. So what this basically does is you pick up the snow and close the, I guess, trap doors shut, and it creates a snowball. And then you can take it and you can use the long handle to sling the snowball. And then we also have, as Abby mentioned, along with like the switch activated bubble makers, we also have just bubble makers that are standard push button. Next slide.
Also,
Sarah-
Jaleesa,
Oh.
Sarah wrote, we
I was
love
gonna say.
these. They're very sturdy and lightweight when you're talking about the hammock chair.
Oh, okay. Yes, they are very sturdy and pretty lightweight. They fold into like your standard camping chairs. They come with a really awesome case. I wish I had it with me, but it comes with like an awesome case that's almost like folds out to a blanket, and then straps like Velcro or connector straps. I forgot what they're called.
Velcro, kinda, what are-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that just come with like little buckle things that buckle short ways and long ways, and it's easy, compact, can throw it in the back of the car and take it camping.
And the type of material, yeah, it's great for indoor and outdoor.
Yes.
So that is all of the AT devices that we're going to show today. But like we stated before, there's so many different devices out there for youth. Again, we provide devices for infants to older adults. And then also just to kind of piggyback off of the fact that this was an overview, but Abby has different Tech Tuesdays that were specifically for AT for gaming, specifically for AT for crafting and art. And Jaleesa has also done multiple Tech Tuesdays that were geared towards outdoor rec. So winter prep, fall cleanup, and gardening Tech Tuesday. So we have a lot of those that are available, and you will have access to them. We'll be sending out the links to our drive. Anyone that's on our listserv has access to that. We are going to be attending a couple of upcoming events. So this Thursday for Adaptive Recreation Expo, Jaleesa, Abby, and Teresa will be going to that event. Oh, I'm sorry, we have a hand raised. Kelly?
Oh, Kelly, you're muted and your hand is raised.
No. Okay.
I know sometimes when you hold your hand up, Zoom will just automatically raise your hand. So maybe
Oh,
that's
okay.
what happened.
Yeah. So that's this Thursday in Grand Rapids. And then February 17th through the 18th, we will be up in Higgins Lake for their Winter Fest. We'll have a booth there. And then we also have some upcoming Tech Tuesdays. We have AT for Trauma coming up February 28th. And then we also have AT for Pet Care in March. Nick, do you have those links to those registrations? If not, we can put those in the resource guide as well so that people can register.
Yeah, I can paste them in the chat. And then I also just pasted in the chat the link to our survey that you can take that helps us just gather more information and make sure we're doing things well and what we can do better and so forth. So feel free to fill it out once you're done here. We appreciate it.
And if you are interested in learning more about our organization, receiving training, or us coming out and doing like a presentation for you and your staff, or if you have groups of students or youth groups that you would like us to come out and show some AT to or do a couple of demonstrations on items, feel free to contact us and reach out. We have our emails in the resource guide, our phone numbers, and also just the different ways to reach us through our demo request forms and links. And then we also have a link to our lending library available. So if there's anything that you saw today that you would like to request, feel free to reach out and say like, hey, I really like that item. Can you bring it out? And we will schedule it in. Does anyone have any other questions?
Kelly wrote that our trainings, she couldn't unmute, that's what happened.
Oh.
Our trainings are available on our website on the training tab as well. And also, I know we went over so many things, and even just talking about what you can do after, like, if you're like, oh, I think they went over this, you can just message us and be like, I think there was this one thing that you talked about, and we can figure it out. And our next Tech Tuesday will have CRC CEUs available.
The AT for Trauma presentation. So if you know anyone that needs their CRC CEUs, tell them to join us. And thanks everyone for coming out today.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Tanisha.
Oh no, thank you, Tanisha.
Nick, you probably can stop recording.